Hello and welcome to another episode on Health is Wealth, your trusted source for health education. My name is Zarifai Musa and I remain your host. Like always, this week today, the 28th of July, marks the World Hepatitis Day, where we celebrate hepatitis, and the theme for this year is hepatitis. Let's break it down. And with me in the studio are two students from medical lab science, from here, Bayero University, Kano, where we'll be discussing with them on hepatitis. And as we mark today, World Hepatitis Day, which is the 28th of July. Welcome to our humble studio.
Thank you very much.
So, I did introduce you, but I didn't say your name. This is Abdullahi Khalid, and this is Halima Abdul Aziz. So, over to you, Abdul Aziz. Abdullahi. I would like to ask, what is hepatitis?
Okay. So, hepatitis, from the names implies, simply means the inflammation of the liver. So this is a disease which occurs due to viral infections that deviate the liver from its normal function. So these hepatitis are categorized into different types. We have the hepatitis A, the hepatitis B, the hepatitis C, D, E, and hepatitis G. But the hepatitis of mostly clinical importance, these hepatitis are divided based on their mode of transmission, geographical locations, and symptoms. So most of the hepatitis of clinical importance and that leads to liver disease or hepatocellular carcinoma, that's liver cancer, are the hepatitis B and hepatitis C virus. So the hepatitis B virus occurs due to viral infection caused by hepatitis B virus, and this hepatitis B virus enters the body through different routes, and which I know that we are going to explain more of it as we dive into the program, the discussion. So this hepatitis affect the liver and by then lead to a lot of clinical manifestation and clinical significance. So that's what hepatitis is all about.
Okay. So I know there are different type of hepatitis, and you kind of stated them. Can you state it again?
Okay. So the hepatitis of clinical importance and the hepatitis we found normally in our region, that's Nigeria, is the hepatitis B and hepatitis C virus. This hepatitis B and hepatitis C virus mostly occur due to infection with either hepatitis B and hepatitis C. And this hepatitis B virus are further divided into two. We have the this hepatitis B virus categorized into two. We have the acute hepatitis B virus and the chronic hepatitis B virus. So the acute hepatitis B virus mostly are asymptomatic. So they occur even without any symptoms. You can be screened for hepatitis B and you will find out that you are positive and you are very okay. That's how it is. It occurs mostly in adults that age at least 19 years to above. So they are asymptomatic. Sometimes you will just be screened for hepatitis B. That's the initial test for the screening of hepatitis. You will be tested for hepatitis B and you'll find out that you are positive and you are very normal. So this type of hepatitis, we call it acute hepatitis. It has short-term illness. And as time goes on, mostly the first screening for the hepatitis is not what defines that you are either acute hepatitis or chronic hepatitis. We have three categories of the screening. The first one is used to detect the presence of hepatitis B, what you used to call hepatitis B surface antigen. The hepatitis B surface antigen is what usually indicate that you are infected with the hepatitis B virus. But it doesn't differentiate whether you are infected with acute hepatitis or chronic hepatitis till we proceed to another step. So that means being infected with hepatitis B virus at the first time doesn't mean that it is chronic or acute. It has to be proceed to the second step, which we test the hepatitis B viral markers. And this hepatitis B viral markers is what we use to detect whether it is acute or chronic hepatitis. So when this virus is acute hepatitis, mostly we allow you to it goes without any medication. Yeah, because of the active function of the immune system. It normally goes within 6 months. So normally they will allow someone to, they'll just put you under some medical advice, like you avoid some stress so that at least
I think we'll get to the treatment part.
So no.
I'll move over to you, Halima. So how is this hepatitis being transmitted?
Okay, hepatitis is transmitted when there is contact in body fluids. These body fluids can be the semen, the blood, the vaginal secretion, even saliva. This can lead to it. Okay. So the major routes of which hepatitis B is being transmitted is in Nigeria precisely is through the mother to child during childbirth. This is because the child has a lower immunity, not being able to fight the virus. The virus is an infection. It infects the child when the mother is giving birth. That is where the hepatitis B virus attacks the child in that process, and then the child gets infected.
It doesn't have to do with breastfeeding?
No, it doesn't have to do with breastfeeding. Secondly, we have through the use of sharing of personal items. For instance, your clipper, yes, razors, because when there is contact in the body fluid especially, then definitely there is going to be the transmission of the virus. And one thing about this hepatitis B virus is it's a virus that can live outside the cell, and of which if it lives outside the cell, it can live for days, 2 days, 3 days, and even up to 7 days. So this virus itself, when you use a sharp razor or an infected razor and another person, a healthy person, come in contact with it, use that same razor. So definitely the virus can transfer. It doesn't mean it must be at that moment. Even if it's after this, the person can get infected with the virus. Then thirdly, which is through blood transfusion, that is when the blood is not well screened before transfusion, then definitely you can get transfer of the virus through that also. Then number 4, the process where you can also have it, as I mentioned earlier, is through unsterilized objects, blood transfusion, the mother to child. Here in Nigeria, it's highly endemic through the mother to child, because that's through childbirth, and that is the way it's highly transmitted. Then followed by through sexual intercourse. That is for people that is having multiple sexual partners, and also they don't take precautive measures, then definitely there is high chances they are affected through the hepatitis B virus.
Okay. So what are the symptoms of this hepatitis? Okay,
as my colleague earlier said, the virus is divided into 2. We have the acute virus and we have the chronic virus. So when they are asymptomatic, they don't show symptoms, and that's why they are very deadly, because you can have the virus and you yourself, you don't know, and you keep on living with it and keep on transmitting it to everyone, people around you, your partners, your family. But when it gets to the stage that the virus now starts to show symptoms, then that means it has started to damage your liver. And among those symptoms, we have the glaring symptoms is jaundice, which is the yellowing of the eyes, the yellowing of the skin. The skin gets to become yellow because the liver, which is one of the solid organs in the body, which is used to break down bilirubin, is a waste product from red blood cells, is now unable to do its function. So the bilirubin now get to accumulate within the body and now start to cause the yellowish of the eyes and also the skin. Secondly, we have dark urine. The normal color of our urine is amber yellow, but when a person is having symptoms of liver damage due to chronic hepatitis B, then you now get to find out that the person's urine is now becoming very dark, looking like something like slimming tea or thereabouts. Then number 3, we have swelling of the stomach. Okay. When a person is infected with hepatitis B and it has got to the chronic stage, you feel the stomach will start getting big, and be feeling pain at the upper part abdomen of the stomach, because at that part, that is where the liver is located. Then number 4, we have fatigue. You wake up in the morning, you have not done anything, you are tired. You feel like a log of wood is all over you. All these are symptoms of hepatitis B. Then we have also loss of appetite. You are someone who loves to eat food, or you haven't eaten for 2-3 days, but when you see food, you cannot eat. So all these are symptoms of what? Hepatitis B. And this lead to liver damage, liver failure, or liver cirrhosis.
So over to you, Abdullah.
Okay.
So what's the difference between acute and chronic hepatitis?
Okay, thank you very much. So as I've already said that one of the difference between this acute and chronic hepatitis is that in acute hepatitis, they might be either symptomatic or asymptomatic. As I've already told you that we normally detect whether it is acute or chronic after we do the first screen, that's in the second screening. So in acute hepatitis, you will find out that the person is very normal without showing any symptoms. But when you test the person, you will find out that he have that hepatitis. So with that, the immune system is able to fight against that hepatitis for a long period of time, up to 6 months. But when the person exceeds that 6 months, that hepatitis progresses to chronic hepatitis.
So within the, if I'm getting you right, within the first 6 months that you have hepatitis, it doesn't show in your body. It doesn't show all the symptoms she mentioned. You don't have any of
them in acute hepatitis.
So it's when it reaches 6 months, that's when you start getting.
But you can, even when it reaches the 6 month is when it, sometimes even the acute hepatitis, some of the acute hepatitis can show some mild symptoms, while others cannot show any symptoms. You understand? So as I've already said, when we check the presence of the hepatitis, we find out that it is acute. You'll find out that this person come, but the hepatitis is acute, and it show some mild symptoms like maybe fever, fatigue, and the rest. But there are some other people that come with hepatitis, and you'll find out that they are asymptomatic. And for that reason, if a person shows some virus symptoms, you just put the person under some medical advice, and as time goes on, his immune system will be able to fight that hepatitis, and he will be cured. And when a person is presented without that symptoms too, you just tell him that he should just go and come back after maybe one month for at least, so that we will be reviewing the result and see whether the hepatitis have gone. So, and that's monitoring. The hepatitis can go at any time within that 6 months. But immediately when that acute hepatitis that have no symptoms exceed that 6 months, it might progress to what we call chronic hepatitis. And this chronic hepatitis is the chronic part of the hepatitis that can lead to cirrhosis and hepatocellular cancer. It can lead to liver cancer of the liver. So when someone got to the stage of chronic hepatitis, all the symptoms are shown, and even after you test that person, you'll find out that he is having that chronic hepatitis, and for that reason he will be placed under some certain drugs. What you normally, up to now, this hepatitis B is not able to 100% cure. Even if they put you under some certain drugs, the hepatitis can only goes to a certain limit that we call it undetectable limit, that hepatitis cannot be either transmitted to somebody or show any symptoms or complications in you. So by that time, as you are placed under some certain drugs, as time goes on, so you will reach to the step whereby you cannot be able to transmit that virus, and to that virus to a neighboring, and that virus cannot show any symptoms on you. So that's how it is. But the normal DNA of the virus is in the liver, and it will stay without showing any symptoms. It can only be triggered when you are having some certain disease like immunodeficiency disease such as HIV, or you are having like autoimmune disease like such of rheumatoid arthritis, when you are given some disease that will suppress the immune system. And for that reason, when your body is suppressing that immune system, that virus will be triggered, because your immune system is not able to keep that virus under that undetectable level. It's not able to fight the virus. So, but when it is acute, when it is acute, you stay for that 6 months, and maybe on that 6 months or before that 6 months, you have recovered. So your body is able to develop a lifetime immunity against that virus. So you are not going to be infected with that virus, and even if you check for the virus, you are not going to see it. So this is what differentiates the two.
So what's the difference also between hepatitis A? How can hepatitis A and B be prevented, and are there vaccines for that? Okay,
normally the virus we mostly used to see in this geographical region is hepatitis B and C virus.
Okay.
So, and both hepatitis B and C virus show the same symptoms, and all of them can be transmitted through the same routes. So for hepatitis B virus, we have vaccine for hepatitis B virus. So, and this hepatitis B virus vaccine, we even used to give it as of last year. We have delivered like at least for 150 in our department for our students. So we are going to collect it in 3 doses. the first dose, and after 2 weeks you'll collect the after 4 weeks, minimum of 4 weeks, the second dose, and after at least 8 weeks for the third dose. That's for hepatitis B virus. And after you get fully vaccinated for this hepatitis B virus, your body will be immunized and protect yourself.
There's no any need for boost?
No?
There's no any need for boost over the years?
Yeah, it's
when
after 10 years. The minimum of it will be, your body will be immunized for at least 10 years.
Okay.
And after 10 years, you'll collect another one. And even before you collect another one, there is still a test that we do to see whether you are fully vaccinated or not. That's for hepatitis B virus. But for hepatitis C virus, there is no any vaccine for that virus. The only way you can protect yourself from infecting with that virus is to avoid contact with any form of fluid or blood that is infected. Yeah, that's what she stated. So that's for, but there are some certain drugs that can suppress the activity of that hepatitis C virus, and the hepatitis C virus is said to be at least 90% cured, not compared to hepatitis B virus.
So over to you, Halima. What are the treatments for this hepatitis?
Okay, for now, the treatment for hepatitis B virus.
And how effective are they?
Okay, as he said, there is acute and there is chronic hepatitis B virus. So when one is affected with the chronic hepatitis B virus, he's going to undergo some antiviral drugs. So these antiviral drugs can either suppress the virus or even kill the virus. But even though it killed the virus, the DNA of that virus is still inside the liver. So the best treatment for it is to take your vaccine. Have yourself vaccinated. Get yourself tested and get yourself vaccinated. That is if you are tested negative. But if you are tested positive for the virus, then you would go for medical diagnosis. Let them go for testing. Know the kind of hepatitis B virus you have. Is it in its acute stage or it's in the chronic stage? Because though if you are to have the symptoms of chronic stage, you yourself will know, and it's at that time you need to hurry up to go and meet your doctor. Sure. So this virus itself, the treatment for now is to go on antiviral drugs. That are the drugs that will help at least to suppress it. And then the vaccine for those that are not infected with the virus. When you are being tested negative, you go for the vaccine. After the vaccine, also you'll be free from the virus. Yes.
So is it a lifelong illness or is it curable?
Hepatitis B virus is actually a lifelong virus. It will stay in the virus, but normally, as I have already said, if that virus is treated, if the chronic hepatitis B virus is treated, it goes below detection limit. And that below detection limit, you cannot transmit it to your partner or to anybody. So that you cannot transmit it, and it is not going to show any symptoms in your body, unless due to maybe some certain circumstances, as I've said, maybe some immunodeficiency disease that will depress your immune system. So, and for that reason, that virus will trigger and come back.
So how can people with higher risk of getting this hepatitis prevent themselves from getting this illness? Because you mentioned some of the ways in which we contact this disease. It has to do with maybe sharing a razor. And you know, men, they normally go to the shops for barbing. Maybe the ladies, you go to the maybe salon to plait your hair and whatnot. So how can you prevent yourself from contacting the disease? Because obviously you have to go and barb your hair. You have to go to the salon. You have to have contact with most of these things. How do you prevent yourself?
Okay, that's why they said enlightenment is the key. People need to be well enlightened to know much about the virus and how deadly it is, and how dangerous the virus is and how detrimental it is to the health. Because when you know how deadly something is, you try at least to now take good care of yourself to protect from it. The major ways for people who usually go out to make their hair, both the males and the female, is to make sure that those in charge of it make sure they sterilize sterilize it, especially when in the process of using it you had a cut with someone. Make sure you sterilize it, because it's only when you sterilize it at least you have now killed the virus. Despite the fact that you kill the virus, if the virus is, especially if the person is suffering from a chronic hepatitis, that virus can still be living there. So one thing is make sure everything is being sterilized, and also have your own personal items. You want to barb your hair, you can have your own clipper. At least that will save you a lot. Health is wealth. When you are able to take good care of yourself, you save yourself and save the community.
Sure.
To make a transplant, liver transplant alone now is costing almost 80 million, I think, and that's a rough estimate of it. So at least, even if it's 2,000 or 3,000, it should save you than for you to spend 80 million naira on your health. So you should make sure you have your own personal items, even toothbrush, because yes, it has get to find out that even you can get the virus through using of toothbrush. Okay, somebody came to visit you, you want to use the person because you felt the person is your friend, you want to use the person toothbrush. And this is something I use every now and then. I can have injury with it, but I will not mind. For me sharing it to you, I might infect you or you might infect me. So this is one thing of which we all need to take good care of. Make sure your health comes first. It's when you are healthy, you'll be able to live well. It's when you live well, you'll be able to also save yourself and also save the community.
What's the global impact of hepatitis, and why is World Hepatitis Day important?
Okay, so according to WHO, in 2022, about 304 million people were expected to be infected with this hepatitis B virus. So, and out of these we are expected to be infected with hepatitis B and C virus. So out of this hepatitis B and C virus, about 254 million people are expected to be living with hepatitis B virus, and 50 million people are living with hepatitis C virus. So based on this rough estimate, you can see how hepatitis B virus is very, very infectious. So, and even in Nigeria, according to WHO still, as of 2024, the rough estimate of people living with hepatitis B virus is about 19 to 20 million, which is almost 10 to 13% of the entire population. So the reason why hepatitis B virus is celebrated is to at least present an awareness to the people on what this hepatitis is. How can I understand that I'm infected with this hepatitis? How am I going to go about it? What are the prevention? How am I going to take care of myself? So that's the reason the world is very alert on hepatitis, and a lot of money have been disbursed in the entire country, especially in Africa. When you take the burden out of that rough estimate I gave of 340 million, about 63%, according to WHO, are Africans living with this hepatitis B virus. So, and that's why it's very important for you to know your status, whether you are hepatitis B positive or hepatitis B negative, and also to get yourself vaccinated if you are tested with hepatitis B positive. And one of the deadliest aspects of this virus is that it can stay in normal environment for at least 7 days, up to 4 weeks. That virus, even if the blood or body fluid that contain the virus is on the floor or in a flat surface, it can stay for at least 1 week. And by any moment that you get yourself puncture with anything related to that contain that virus, you'll be infected with that virus. And sometimes it doesn't used to show any symptoms immediately when you are infected with the virus. Maybe till after like 60 days or 90 days, that's when it is going to start replicating in your body, and with that some certain symptoms might be able to show. So but when you know your status, you are going to at least prevent yourself. You already know that you are fully vaccinated for that hepatitis. Even if you are exposed to anything related to that hepatitis, you are not going to be infected with that virus. So that's the reason why the
So Halima, this question, I'm going to give it to you. He mentioned about it stays in the environment for almost a week or so. So what role does our environment, our hygiene plays in contacting hepatitis, and how does dieting or what we eat affects us getting hepatitis? Because most of the time they say what we eat also plays a role in the way our body is. What you take in your body does how your body responds. It responds to whatever you give it. So what role does hygiene and then what we eat plays in you getting hepatitis?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. For diet, what we eat in hepatitis B virus, it doesn't have correlation at all, because the major route of which the hepatitis B virus in particular is being transmitted is through body fluid contact.
Okay.
When there is body fluid contact, that is the major route of
I need it
which,
just in a nutshell.
okay, that's okay. That's how it's been transmitted. And also for the diet, there is a kind of hepatitis virus that that can be transmitted through food or that's not it. That is for, I think, hepatitis A. Yes, that's hepatitis A. But hepatitis B itself, it's mainly transmitted through contact of body fluid. When there is contact of body fluid, then definitely there will be transmission of the virus from an infected to a non-infected person.
Okay. So let me quickly chip in this before you say your final words.
Okay.
The issue about any help center for people that have hepatitis, because you know there are people that live in the rural area,
yes,
and I don't think they have like any access to maybe having a test or whatnot. So is there any like quick contact or for people that are less privileged?
So actually, most at times this hepatitis B testing and vaccination used to be free in primary health care centers.
Okay.
So the only way the only way you're supposed to do is to go to that nearest healthcare facility, get yourself tested. If you are found negative, there are a lot of vaccines, even though this year the vaccine seems to be very low, but still there are a lot of vaccines that are brought into any primary healthcare centers. So there is just a need of awareness. We need to present an awareness to the people living in remote areas for them to present themselves. We advise them, even though we used to participate in a lot of medical outreach in a lot of villages, and you'll find out that a very young child, who is maybe 3 years, 4 years, was hepatitis positive since before you even test the patient.
And he got it through the mother.
Yeah, no, sometimes through the mother and sometimes it's not through the mother. But since before you test the patient, you realize that you have all the symptoms of hepatitis. And most of these children ranging from 1 to 5 years, they don't normally develop the acute hepatitis. Okay. They used to develop the chronic hepatitis because of the nature of their immune system. In fighting against that infection. So the only way to do is to keep enlightening people on how they will get access to the testing and also the vaccination.
Okay. Final words from you. Just a few minutes.
Okay. So hepatitis virus is a very deadly virus. We need to all come together, not only to make awareness, but also to stop the virus. It is possible because the global health is trying to make sure by 2030 the world is free from hepatitis. So it's something we are all to come together. You have learned about it, inform another person, and also try to take the measures. Give yourself that personal hygiene. Know what you are going to touch, where you are going to touch, do what you are going to do, and also protect yourself from any form of which you are going to contact the virus. Stay informed, stay healthy, stay wealthy. Health is wealth.
So based on WHO, there is an action plan to eradicate this hepatitis by 2050, and they outline at least 10 steps that is going to be implemented in order to eradicate this hepatitis, which include the testing, the treatment, prevention, service delivery, product regulation, investment, financing by some non-governmental organization, data of action to know the number of people being infected with this virus in a certain area, community engagement and innovation. So this is part of the effort we have been doing based on our own, based on what we are able to do. As of last year, we are able to at least test and diagnose at least 100 students from our department. And this year too, we are planning to start next year. And we are hoping that if we are able to secure a lot of vaccine, we are going to expand our horizon, not from the department. We are going to expand it to the faculty level, to the university level, to the state level, and the entire country at large. Inshallah. Yeah, that's our hope.
I hope you're able to achieve that.
Inshallah.
Which brings us to the end of today's episode, and I hope you guys picked one or two from what we said. Make sure before going to the barbering salon, make sure everything is sterilized for people that operate salons, for people that have both female and male salons. You should sterilize whatever you use. Whenever you see eraser, don't just pick eraser and then start using it. Make sure you take care of all these simple things that you see that they are not that important. They are important for your health, which brings us to the end of today's episode on Health is Wealth. My name is Fatima Rufai Musa, and I'm saying bye.